You can, yep, you can go for that one if you want. Yep, push up. Remember how to get under it? There you go. Thank you, Lydia. She's trying to catch it for you. All right! Awesome job! All right. When we go out and we harvest a saguaro fruit, it's a team effort. So you have one person that's actually picking the saguaro fruit. You have another person that's collecting it in the bucket. I'm gonna hit this one and then I can help you. You also have another person that's a spotter that's going ahead and figuring out the next saguaro to pick from. That's how we are resilient, is being with each other and being together, and cooperation is how we make it through the world. That's how we are successful. Skugdash Anyap Jugi Jasau Ramon Sabran Chapwak Amachit. Good day, my name is Jasau Ramon Sabran, and I come from the San Xavier District on the Tohono O'odham Nation. We are currently in the Santa Cruz River Basin within the San Xavier District boundary. The name in O'odham for San Xavier is Wak, which means where the water goes in, and that was in reference to the aquifers that help feed the Santa Cruz River at one point in time. Wak O'odham have been farmers for time immemorial, and the Santa Cruz River was our main water source. We would at times farm almost year round because we had the Santa Cruz River. Everything was really centered around the Santa Cruz River for us in San Xavier. Women would go down with their pottery and fill up at the river. Children would go and play in the river, wash clothes down at the river. Even my great-great-grandfather and great-grandfather utilized and had canals that came from the Santa Cruz into their farm fields. I loved hearing these stories growing up from my grandma Lena, talking about what it once looked like in San Xavier. I found this photo of when she was a little girl, and the photo was taken where I'm standing right now. There was this beautiful farmhouse that was standing here at one point in time, and it belonged to my great-grandfather, Frank Rios. He farmed this land. There's pictures of him out in the farm fields talking to individuals that are O'odham and non-O'odham. He's sharing his knowledge. It's very much part of our Himatha, sharing the knowledge and passing it on from generation to generation. Our Creator always told us, only take what you need, because there are others in terms of plants and animals, insects, again, just others that need this water source as well. That was always our mindset with water, with, picking the saguaro fruit, with picking, cholla buds, prickly pear, anything. And we, for time immemorial, were able to maintain the water source in the Santa Cruz River. And then you have others that come into your ancestral land where you've lived, and they don't have that same mindset. They were not taught the same way, and so they just take, and take. And then we began to notice the flow of the Santa Cruz River started to change. It decreased. That was because you had the city of Tucson growing. You had non-O'odham farmers living close proximity, and a Sarco mine. They came in the 50s, and same thing. They started to pump and take to the point where there was no more Santa Cruz River. There was no longer an Adi Acamel, which is what we called the Santa Cruz River. It took away our livelihood. Farming was just something of the past. The elders in San Xavier didn't want this to continue on like this. There was just this sadness, of not being able to see our farm fields, growing, see the lush green. And so they got together and decided to hold those accountable that depleted the Santa Cruz River. And it took some time. It was a lot of different entities and folks that had interest in this. The Tohono O'odham Nation actually represented the San Xavier District in a lawsuit named the Southern Arizona Water Rights Settlement Act of 1982, or in short, SWARSA, was able to bring the Central Arizona Project to Tucson. It's a blessing to see water flowing again in the Santa Cruz. It means a lot to us as O'odham because we can now talk about water in a present tense versus before it was always talked about, in the past. But it took 19 years from 1982 into the 2000s before we actually saw the water, because then you had to build the pipeline. You had to find a way for a route to be able to build all of that to then come to San Xavier. Also to rebuild our farmlands, because when we weren't farming, it left our land in bad shape. And so the elders and others that attended those meetings at our rock house said, okay, we're on the same page, let's do something. And so from that plan, thus the creation of the co-op farm. This wasn't something that happened overnight. You had individuals that were dedicated to making sure artisanal ecological knowledge continued, making sure that farming was, brought back again. I'm very proud of the co-op farm because of what my community did, how they came together, restored the land, cared for it, brought it back to life to what you see here today. So Himatug translates to our way of life. But if you break the word down and you have the first part, him, translates to your behavior, how you act, how you present yourself, how you treat other people. And then dag, D-A-G, derives from ibatag, which means your heart. So your spirit, your love, your energy. And so you put all that together and you're looking at how you fit into that world, how you fit into your community, your family. The decisions you're going to make are going to affect your family, your community. And then also thinking bigger picture, cooperation, relationality, the connectedness, the community, that all comes together, and that's how we have survived.